What's up, family? It's your brother Jared. Welcome to the Mitchell Experience. Today we're going to do the Everyman review of the Jabra Elite 65Ts. I picked these up on Amazon for about 155 bucks, and these things have been all over the interwebs as being the best true wireless headphones available. So I figured I'd pick them up for myself and we'd run it through its paces so I can come to my own conclusion, and I wanted to share that with y'all here today. So come along with me. Let's get this thing done. So the Jabra Elite 65Ts are an interesting set of earbuds for me because I actively try to stay away from these as much as I could. But I noticed that these things kept coming up on many people, YouTuber, publication alike, many lists as far as being the best true wireless earbuds that you can get. So after spending a long time of not wanting to spend the price tag, I just bit the bullet and said, forget it, because sometimes you got to pay to play. Now, I do want to put this out there. There are two versions of these. There are the standard Elites, and then there's the active 65Ts. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that unless you're doing, the Ironman challenges and you're running in the mud and you're actually going to be actively working out in the rain, save your 20 or 30 bucks and just get these. The ingress egress protection is different by 1 point. It's not enough to spend the extra money, in my opinion, because every other spec is the same. Now, with that being said, when it comes to true wireless earbuds, I do grade them against 5 criteria: call quality, features, battery life, fit, and most importantly, sound. I'm willing to forgive a lot if the sound is good, and I'm taking all of those criteria and I'm judging them against their price. Now, I'm gonna say this, at $155, which is what I paid for them, not what they are always available for, what I paid for them, these things came in with a very strong handicap because I did not want to spend that amount of money on a set of true wireless earbuds. So with all that being said, let's see how they stack up. Now, first and foremost, when it comes to call quality, these things come built in with 4 microphones, 2 on the stems and 1 on each body, designed to really give you clear call quality sounds and, to work with other features. Now, do these things live up to what they say they do? In a word, absolutely. The call quality on these things are absolutely amazing. And considering that that's always an Achilles heel of pretty much every other set of true wireless earbuds I've ever tried, that was a sigh of relief to know that I can keep these things in my ear and actually engage on a phone call and not have to hear, can you speak up? I didn't hear you. What did you say? That part was actually really nice. As a matter of fact, I was actually able to ride around in my car with my window down and engage in a full-fledged conversation and never once be asked to repeat myself. The call quality on these things are beautiful. As a matter of fact, take a listen for yourself. All right, this is the microphone test for the Jabra Elite 65Ts. Once again, the Jabra Elite 65Ts. We're walking through the office. We're at about 15 feet. We're continuing to walk to about 30. So while call quality on these things are good, I gotta admit that one thing that it didn't really impress me with was connectivity. These things actually fell second worst as far as my list of all the headsets that I've tried and did a range test. These things came in second to last. Now, that may not necessarily be a problem for you if you're not a person that ever really gets that far away from their phone. But if you are a person that likes to set their phone down and you like to walk around, your space or your building or your house or whatever the case may be, just be aware that, connectivity with these may not be everything that you expect it to be. The disclaimer on this being, I have found that between my iPhone 7 and my Galaxy S9 Plus, I do get a stronger connection and a bit longer range on my iPhone than I do on my Galaxy S9 Plus, which is really interesting to me, but it's still a factor nonetheless. Now, that takes us to the next piece, features. Now, I mentioned about these things having 2 microphones in the body that work with other features. These are the only set of earbuds that I've ever tried that have a feature called Hear Through, which takes these microphones and using the app that it comes with, allows you to hear the ambient noise that's going on around you. And it operates really a lot like AirPods in that you can still hear your media, but you can hear what's going on around you if you choose. The thing I like about these is I'm a big fan of choice. So if I want to turn those off because people in my office are being too loud, I can do that. And I don't have to hear them if I don't want to. It's a beautiful thing. They also have a white noise feature built into it where it'll pump in noises, from nature. everything from a waterfall to a thunderstorm to oceans to a cavern to a crowd to fans to, there's a lot of different options, along with the ability to change your EQ based on the app. I like the fact that not only can I use the preset EQs that are built into it, but it's also got an EQ curve that I can set to my own personal liking based on what I'm listening to. That part is beautiful. The next piece being battery. These things claim to have 5 hours of battery on the earbuds themselves and another 15 hours of battery on the case. Now, I've said many times, I am not a person that's gonna keep a set of earbuds in my ear for 5 hours at a time. I'm just not that guy. But when it comes to using this case, I've had these cases for going on a week, these earbuds for going on a week, and yesterday was the first time that this light on the bottom, this little light, which is an indicator, tells you it glows in green, yellow, or red. Yesterday was the first time that this thing actually got down to yellow. So I'll say for me, from a personal standpoint, considering the longest I've actually ever held these in my ear has been 3 hours while I was out in the field, so far, battery life has not been a complaint. And 5 hours on the earbuds and 15 hours on the case is definitely among the better sets up there when I'm seeing an average of about 3 to 3.5 hours and maybe another 8 hours on the case. So that's a really, really nice thing to see. Fit. These things were actually a very pleasant surprise when it came to fit. So I fully expected, based on the way these things are designed and this big old body, that these things are gonna put some stress on my ear. So far, these have been one of the least stressful sets of earbuds in my ears and the way my ears are shaped. Now, keep in mind, I know everybody's sets of ears are different, but in my particular use case, these things have been really surprisingly comfortable. And what I found interesting about the way this thing is designed is most earbuds I've noticed have a set where the ear tip itself comes out a bit. As a matter of fact, let me show you against, these little guys right here, which were, my number 2 as far as call quality is concerned. And I'll show you a direct comparison of what I'm talking about. These are kind of similar in design, still got the stem and all of that good stuff. But when you look at these things side by side, one thing that you'll notice is that the body on the DaVita is a lot more blocky, right? You can see that? And on these guys, because of the rounded shape and the contours, these actually fit inside your ear canal a lot more naturally than these guys do. These guys actually stick out quite a bit, even with, I know I put these ear tips on there that gave it a little bit extra length, but these things still stick out of my ear quite a bit. Not so much where I'm still looking uncomfortable like Shrek, but enough where it is noticeable. But these guys, like I said, these things are actually pretty natural in the way they fit. And they did not give my ear really any fatigue at all. The only thing that I had to do, or the only thing that it was for me when it comes to these, was knowing that something was in my ear. You can feel it. It's almost like having, earplugs in, but you can hear everything around you when you've got the hear through feature. And after a while, you just don't want to have your earplugs in anymore. But as far as fit is concerned, these things are actually a very nice, pleasant surprise. And among the most comfortable ones that I have here. So, once again, that piece is always really nice to have when you're talking about a set of earbuds that, you want to be able to use on a regular basis. If they hurt, if they, feel awkward, if they feel heavy, then what's the point? But these guys right here, they fit really, really well. Now, that takes me to the last piece, being sound. How do these things sound? In a word, they sound just okay. I actually would have been okay with the sound if I didn't have other earbuds laying around that I was able to compare it against. And the part I think that probably frustrated me the most was the fact that with these things being the most expensive, these guys are quite literally a third of the price. And I enjoyed the sound coming out of these better than I did out of those. Now, I will say it totally depends on the type of music that you listen to. So if you're a person that listens to, more audiobooks, or if you listen to more interviews, podcasts, things like that, these are going to be perfectly fine for you. But if you're listening to anything like any sort of EDM, hip hop, R&B, anything that's got some bass heavy sounds to it, these things just don't live up, and they don't get as loud as some of my other earbuds do. And the part I think that was the most disappointing to me is even with the EQ adjustment, I still wasn't able to get the sound profile exactly how I like it, the way some other earbuds come already out of the box perfectly tuned. So, you know, all that being said, the thing that I would have to say as far as these earbuds are concerned is you just have to determine what type of person you are, right? If you're looking for something that's going to give you a bit more control over the AirPods and you're perfectly fine with the way AirPods sound, these are probably going to be good for you. You know, they're a really good earbud. But if you come from something and you prefer the sound profile of, say, you know, the Beats or something to that effect that gives you a really strong low end, I personally feel like Beats are too bass heavy, so I need something a little bit more balanced. But if you're used to that type of sound profile, these things are just not going to live up to the hype. Now, I actually read a comment that I think probably surmises perfectly what the deal is and why these things have so much going for them, but yet fall so short when it comes to call quality. And that was simply that Jabra is a company known for their Bluetooth headsets, not known for other earphones that are making Bluetooth headsets. That being said, that explains why these things have so many great features and the features work really, really well. But when it comes to sound, they're kind of middle of the road, right? Versus some other companies that have actually focused on sound being their main priority and all the other things kind of fall secondary. Now, I'll say this. These are not a bad buy for the money. If you're looking for a really well-rounded option, if you're looking for something that's going to give you that good balance of, you know, it's going to give you some okay sound, but it's going to give you some really good features, some really good battery life. You're going to use these for phone calls on a regular basis. If that's you, truthfully speaking, you're not going to find anything that's going to give you a better balance than these other than, say, the AirPods. Call quality wise, the AirPods have been really the only ones that I found that are even comparable to this. And these and the AirPods blow just about every other set of True Wireless earbuds that I've tried out of the water as far as talk and call quality. But if you are a person that values sound over everything else, these things aren't going to get it for you. And for the money, there are many better options out there that will give you some really excellent sound quality, some excellent fit, excellent battery life, you know, all of those things that are important to me without giving you necessarily the features and without giving you the call quality. So all that to say, like I said, these are a really, really well-rounded option. I don't know that these necessarily take the top spot for me only because of how much they cost. I think if these things were about $30 or $40 cheaper at $129, absolutely, I would recommend these all day. You know, $100 even better. But at $169, which is what if I believe that was what their typical regular price is, I don't see it. And, you know, a lot of this is, you know, brand recognition and so on and so forth. Now, they do have a 2-year warranty on them. And if that's important to you, great. And the fact that these are available in brick and mortar stores, you can walk into Best Buy and pick these up right now. You know, that definitely has a lot going for it. But, you know, I'm just a different type of shopper. So because I value sound over everything else, these are great in the office. These are not my go-tos in the gym. And considering that I can really get a set of, you know, $60 to $80 earbuds to give me the sound quality I'm looking for, and I can always take these out when I'm in the office to do a phone call, I don't know that these are going to be it for me. You know, I may keep these around, you know, for when I go out and, you know, I'm in public places and things like that. But for the most part, these are not for me. These are not going to be the top marks for me. And ultimately, like I said, it just comes down to the fact that they are pricey. They're pricey, in my experience, in my opinion. You know, I've been very clear that I'm not willing to spend hundreds upon hundreds of dollars. But, you know, for you, it may be a different case. So if that's the case, by all means, check these things out. If you haven't tried the Power Beats, or if you haven't tried the Treb Labs, or you haven't tried the Maven Air X's, or any, you know, you haven't tried the Sennheisers, anything like that, and, you know, you're not coming from that type of thing, that type of sound profile, then these will probably be great for you. And if that's the case, by all means, check these out. I'm not saying don't get them. I'm just saying that these aren't the perfect ones for me. So with that being said, this was the Jabra Elite 65T review. I appreciate you taking the time to listen. Please like, subscribe, give me any feedback that you got for me, and I'll see you on the flip. Peace and love.